And we're live, Mr. Chair. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Peter. Welcome everyone to our Public Works Urban Beautification meeting, February the 2nd. Call to order. Declarations of conflict of interest. Do you see any? No, we're good. Approval of the agenda. I'll need a mover and a seconder there. Moved by Councillor Ramsey, seconded by the Mayor. All those in favor? Good, great. Aye. Thank you. Adoption of the minutes. So we have none. So we can't even help you out, Mr. Mayor, with the horizon of the minutes, right? The previous minutes.
I got something to say. No. Councillor Duffy looks pretty calm there. I want to keep him calm.
Keep her calm. We'll go into reports. I guess we're at the capital projects monthly update. I guess Scott, you're going to take that, or Joey, who wants it?
I'll take that. Thank you, Chair. So yes. So the reason why this is on the agenda today, so the goal is, I guess I should go back. I did listen to you guys last year and wanted to find a way to provide a better update on capital projects, and it's a way for us to put it in a simplified form that it's easy to get out there to the masses for review on what projects are undergoing. So you'll likely see in your package there the current update, the capital budget update, or capital projects update. And I guess what I'm looking for from you folks, and maybe not today, but is there any additional information that you would like to see on this document? And I'll share my screen just so that it is up and running here. So I guess we're right where we have it. We're trying to identify every major project that we'll be doing under the capital budget, whether it's municipal buildings or streets or sidewalks. We're trying to put down a percentage complete, so the entire project, a project status. So this is where we'll say, has it been awarded, design stage, if it's design is in progress or completed. We will identify who the consultant is, of course, the contractor once that's been awarded for tender. Also indicate the estimated construction start date, and then a note section here, just kind of anticipating when we will see it start. We'll also, complete. See when it was end. We'll put notes in here if there's a delay for whatever reason, and try to explain that delay best we can. But again, like I say, this is a spreadsheet. It'll be a living document that we hope to, my goal is to present it monthly at this meeting, and circulate it any additional time there's questions on where we are with capital projects as we go through the year. So I guess I'll turn the floor back over to the committee and just ask if there's any information that you'd like to see on this as you go forward, or if you're happy with the way it looks at this moment.
Scott, we should be putting on the value of those construction projects, and maybe as you go forward, how much has been expended to date?
Certainly, we can definitely add that. That's a good one. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah. So the total project cost will be there somewhere, and then as we move along, we'll see how much of that where we're at. Right. That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's my understanding what Peter's looking for.
Okay. I think it's a great idea. Scott's a good idea, because we, you never know what question's going to come up. This kind of solves that problem, and it gives council a chance to see where the projects are and where we're moving along. So I think it's a great idea. And I don't know what the rest think, but
and we can probably use this as a prototype for all committees.
Yeah, really, it's a good idea.
I agree.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I know a project there to your area is the St. Peter's Road Belvedere Roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
But if I look at land property acquisitions, it says not available. I believe the Public Works Beautification Department have been dealing with the property that's owned by Wilson Fuels, it's now Couche-Tard. So bigger company, a lot more financial resources. So
and Scott can give an update in the closed session workshop that's under negotiation.
Okay, that's going to be under the budget?
We can just add it as an item under the closed session.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alana, Mike, you guys good?
I'm fine, great. The only thing, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the only thing that I get frustrated with every year is that we budget for a lot of projects and then it's a carryover on it, and this is with every department. And I wish that, I wish is the right word, I guess, is that if a project is going to go ahead, well, then we know where we stand financially. Because, like, we have $35 million carryover in the whole budget, or something along that line. It's just that if we know the project's not going to be done, why even put it on the books for
Right.
certain
So,
year?
right,
That's just
so
my personal opinion.
that's a good question, but that's exactly what this document's going to do, Councillor Ramsey. Is it's going to give everybody an opportunity to see where the project is at any given time. So every month this is going to be updated, right? So there can't be this. Okay, come August, how come we don't know anything about that particular project and why it didn't get started? We're going to be very up to date now, and that's what Scott's. What Mr. Adams is saying is that after listening to us and if you look at this sheet, you shouldn't be, and it's only at 10%, it's probably a good chance you shouldn't be putting it in your newsletter, right? So this is kind of the information piece that council's been seeking, and to help with your frustrations, it's exactly what this is going to do. It's going to show where every project is in the capital world at any given month.
And so, Scott,
Okay.
can you can also put in here, Scott, the projected end date as well? You do have the start date. You need to put the end date, so you'll be using a legal piece of paper by the time you're done. But we also should put in there when it's done as well, or expected to be done.
Yes, and we have it currently in the notes section, but we can create a another column that notes that as well. So that's not a problem as well.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
And
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just under the budget itself, I know there's a couple of other matters that I'd like to put up or bring up at the closed session because they're matters under consideration. Is that all right? It's just a couple of other projects that are listed there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get a little more information from
More
the
information. Yep. That's
chief
what
engineer and the deputy chief engineer.
Yep. That's what we're here for. Yeah, no problem. So, so Peter, you don't want us. We don't need an approval for that or anything, do we?
No, and that's just an information piece.
It's just the information only, and I think it might be, like you say, Peter, be a good benchmark for the other committees to follow up as well and do the same.
Yeah, we'll have a standardized format.
Yeah.
once we updated the spreadsheet, Peter, what I can essentially delete all the information and provide you with a blank template, correct, to share with other departments.
And just leave in the column information, Scott. But everything else can go blank.
Okay. Yep. No, absolutely.
Good. Thank you very much, Scott. That's great work. Yes,
And just
Scott?
an FYI.
Go ahead there, Scott.
I was just going to say, an FYI for folks, we did get our first tender already out yesterday,
Great.
and we're aiming for 2 additional ones by the end of this week, hopefully. So we are having an additional hand with Albert around has made things he's picked up a lot of the heavy lifting together with me. So we have been really pushing to get some projects out. So you'll start to see a number of resolutions coming forward in the next couple months toward a lot of this work.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what we want to see. Yep. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, it's the largest capital budget ever in the history of the city since 1855, and so it's going to mean a lot of work for staff and the consultants. So it's going to be a hard year, but I think that if we can get most of them started and moving into the next year, we're all in a good position.
Yeah. Well, like you say, being in the know is the key, right? And because if no news means you're assuming, and then all of a sudden, the crap hits the fan. So I think this is a great tool to move forward and have council in the know as we go along, and there'll be no surprises. Yeah, great. So if no other discussion on that, we'll move on to our introduction of new business. There's been things brought up to council in previous meetings, and one of those items was the seasonal staff winter jackets. If you two gentlemen would like to kind of share your knowledge on that, that'd be great.
I'm gonna let Joey talk in regards to this one. You take it away, Joey.
Yeah. Hi guys, Alana. So it is a negotiated thing in our contract. I'm not saying that we're against doing anything like that, but we have to be careful when we have things like this that are negotiated through our contract. On a side note, I had the union approach me, two of the union executive approached me on Friday, wondering where we buy our jackets and everything, because they said the union was purchasing a jacket for every member of the union, seasonal, full-time, and everything. So I just gave them the information where we go and told them they'd have to work out their own deal with the provider. I don't know if that lays any credence to it or not, but.
Well, you know, I think you know, to Councillor Durong's defense there, you know, whoever the person was, you know, some of these folks are you know, they're not really full tradesmen, and they haven't been in the business very long, some of them, and they come without being prepared. So it's good to see that that's happening for a number of reasons. One is, you know, it gives the city a better image. It gives you know, when you see someone not freezing to death, they're out holding a flag or whatever, right? And at the same time, it's a safety thing. So good work, you know, with the communication with both yourselves and the union. Yeah. Any questions?
So, Mr. Chair, is the union providing it? Am I led to believe they're paying for them, the union?
That's I believe what Mr. McKinnon said. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what was indicated to me. I know that the union coffers are fairly flush right now, and they wanted to purchase a jacket for everybody.
That's good.
Okay, will they just be right off the rack, or will they be stamped as?
I believe they're being stamped as QP 501, not with the city of Charlottetown.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And
That's good
Mr.
news.
Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, Joey, just to clarify, these are winter, spring, like just what type of code is it? I just want to.
I'm not 100% on that, Your Worship. I do know that they asked about the jackets that we had provided for the superintendents. That they're like a Columbia wear type jacket. They got that new foil liner and stuff in them for the cold weather. Omni-Tech, I think it's called. Now, what they do with it is I have no idea. I just set them up and made the introductions over the phone with them, and they were going to go sit down with the supplier.
Yeah. And Joey, I sorry, Mr. Chair, but Joey, I recall being on council back in 2001, 2002. The chair of finance brought up to the floor of council to purchase rain equipment for the full-time employees. Mm-hmm. And that was outside of the contract, and I know that there was a little bit of a blowback from human resources by negotiating outside the collective agreement. So I understand what you're saying is that you want to provide any amenities or any additions that should be negotiated between the employer and the employee.
Correct. And what came out of that, my understanding of the history on that is we do have to provide them now because we did provide them. And now it got into the bargaining, and it's now in the collective agreement.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to see it all working out. That's the main thing. Any other questions, concerns on that, guys? No.
No.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, that's good. We'll move on to the second item. When that was the private property snow removal. I guess Scott, you might want to speak to this.
Yeah, so thank you, Chair. So yes, this is another question or an item to look into about if the city could aid those who are unable to shovel or seniors. It was my understanding was the question. So we don't provide the service. Public Works, we are very focused on getting the streets and sidewalk open. We don't have those resources to do that. We also kind of, I had Wallace do a search across Canada and see if there's any other type of program that any municipality offers. None of them do. But what we did find is usually under provincial government social assistance funding or something of that nature, there are ways to apply for funding to hire your own service. And I did a quick search. PEI has one, of course. It is This one I found it's support for island seniors. There are a few criteria for them to meet, but if they meet the criteria, then they're eligible for up to $1,500 a year for to pay for services to help with their accessibility and living on their own instead of living in a community setting. So this one, again, like I say, it's $1,500. They can apply for it, and it seems pretty simple to get it as long as you meet the criteria. So us as staff would not be recommending that we look at some type of program because it would end up costing a significant amount of money when there are already provincial programs out there that can help our residents as well.
Scotty, it's also a liability, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's always that liability going on private property. Absolutely. That's why we have policies in place for our staff to stay on our own property or our own city right away.
Right. Thank you.
That's why when we have unsightly premises also that we have to go to council to get permission because without it we can't go on. We can't simply go on and cut grass or paint houses, that sort of thing. We have to get permission. So, yeah, I agree.
So do I.
Yeah. So are we going to provide, so if someone calls up the office here, so how do we go about passing on that information?
What we can do if people are looking for assistance, we can refer them to look into provincial funding. I'll make sure our folks that answer the phone has this information so that if someone does request it, it is available.
Right.
It's on the web, it's easy to get to, so it's quite. We can ask them to provide it if requested.
Okay, cool. That sounds great.
And Mr. Chair,
Yes.
that program to provide financial assistance to seniors, that started back, I think, in mid-2000. Might even started with the Pat Binns government, but it's all aimed in keeping seniors in their homes, and it's a very good program. I think what we have to do, and I know Councillor Yankov's talked about it before, we have to reach out to our communications department to get this out on social media, and also not just the link, but the phone number where seniors can get assistance through this program. I think that's what we have to do, and it's very much a way of governments working with each other, provincial, municipal, in trying to help our seniors and others.
So should we first reach out to our counterparts to make sure that they're on board with that and that we're advertising that program? I mean, we probably should, just to be on the good side of things, make sure we're both parties. So is that something, Scott, your counterpart at the province, you could work that out to see if we can make sure that they're on board and what maybe we should be including in the message?
What we can do is we'll reach out to our comms team. That would likely be the folks they should reach out to the province, because the province does typically yearly they do different campaigns, so they may be already planning something, and all we would have to do is share it on our social media pages. That's probably the better option. Then it really shows it's the provincial program, but we support it as well. I think that's probably the better option. So I'll touch base with the comms team and let them reach out to them.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, we know that the province and the feds have much more fiscal firepower than we do, so it's a responsibility that I'm confident they can withstand or enhance through their own departments. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea and great work again, guys. If there isn't anything else, I'll probably need a motion then to move into our closed section as to 119 subsection E of the PI Municipal Government Act. So I need a move by Councillor Duffy, seconded by the Mayor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll give you a few minutes, Peter.
So stand by, please. Thank you.
Thank you.